Donnie and Dolly. The team is supported by ableauctions.ca. Closing your business? We can help.
All of our guests today, including Elliotte, standing by, sponsored by Passant Motors. Ready to find your next vehicle? Visit Passant Motors today to experience the difference for yourself. The friendly team looks forward to helping you drive home in the perfect vehicle for your needs and budget. Getting to your destination starts with them. Stop by their dealership, 16315 Fraser Highway in Surrey. Check them out online, basantmotors.com. We're joined now by Elliotte Friedman from Hockey Night in Canada, the 32 Thoughts podcast, as we look ahead. Apparently, we're the only two looking ahead to the National Hockey League entry draft on the weekend. Of course, a trade today between Philadelphia, the Flyers, and the Anaheim Ducks. Elliotte, thanks for doing this, sir. How are you?
My pleasure, boys. How are you guys doing?
Very well. And before we move forward with this interview, I just want to say we believe this will be our last hit with you for this particular Donnie and Dolly.
Ryan told me.
Donnie and Dolly season. So I always forget these things, and then I regret it. Then I have to text you later. So thank you so much for all the work you've done for us this year. We really appreciate it.
Well, it's my pleasure. You guys have done an unbelievable job creating something. Like, this is where the world is going, right? Like, what you guys are sort of setting the example. And, Rick, I credit you a lot. I think you set the agenda in Vancouver quite a bit. And you do great work, and I'm happy to join you. And I appreciate you guys donating what I would get for doing this show to the Canucks for Kids Fund. They do an incredible job. They help a lot of people, and I'm glad to participate for that.
Again, we thank you so much, Elliotte. Okay, news of the day. Ducks have traded Trevor Zegras to the Flyers. Rick Tocchet's Philadelphia Flyers for Ryan Poehling, 45th pick in this week's draft, and a 2026 fourth rounder. Your opinion, your thoughts on that deal?
I think everybody knew that the day would come when Trevor Zegras would not be a Duck. I had some people send me some notes, say that's it. Is that the return? I just think that it had gone as far as it was going to go in Anaheim, and I think he needed a fresh start. I think it's the best thing for him. I think it's the best thing for the Ducks. It says to me that the Ducks want their flexibility. I think it's just best for Zegras that he goes somewhere where he can start fresh. Now, I will say this. The Ducks did say publicly and privately last year that Zegras did a lot to try to become more of the player that they felt he needed to be, and to be honest, more of a player that he needs to be. And so I figure it'll work. I figure he'll continue to do that in Philadelphia, but the bottom line is, guys, I think this is the best thing for everybody. It wasn't the greatest fit in Anaheim, and Zegras needed to go somewhere else.
Elliotte, you mentioned something there, but Trevor Zegras trying to become more of a complete hockey player. That and injuries, does that explain his drop-off in production?
100%. Look, Donnie, a couple of years ago, he had back-to-back 60-point seasons. Yes. Nobody is doubting this guy's talent. He is a really talented guy. But he had the injuries. Those were a big problem. Like I said, the Ducks felt publicly and privately that he tried to show more of the game that they liked. But you just, honestly, Donnie, you just never, we're talking a lot about Sam Bennett right now in the Panthers. Yeah. That's a good marriage. I cannot believe that these two sides cannot find a way to get it done, and that's why I think Bennett will be there. That's been a great marriage between team and player. The marriage between Zegras and the Ducks, it was, kind of like your guys' marriage. Sometimes it's good, and some days you guys are really clawing at each other's eyes. So sometimes it's better people move on, and I think Anaheim and Zegras, it was time to move on.
Elliotte, let's talk Canucks. Boeser and Suter,
Yep.
What are you hearing on Boeser and Suter? Give us an update on both.
Well, I think Boeser hits the market. I don't think that's a huge surprise to everybody out there. I think it's going to be interesting for Boeser out there. I think that there's going to be some teams that are going to offer shorter term, like the Canucks did. I think there might be some teams that offer larger term. I've heard him with a bunch of teams. I've heard Ottawa. I've heard Minnesota. I've heard LA. I've heard San Jose. Like San Jose needs to get to the floor, so I'm curious to see what they're going to do. LA seems to be a good fit, but I think they're contemplating lots of different things. Like I think there's a lot of possibilities out there for Boeser, depending on what kind of contract he likes. You know, Rick, you were the one who reported last week that the Canucks are taking another run at Suter. As you know, the Canucks weren't comfortable with the number that was asked of him, which was about 4.5. I have no, like, I've been asking around to other people, do they think Suter can get 4.5 in the market? And everybody thinks yes. So ultimately, I think, I think Vancouver's going to have a decision to make here. It's a challenging thing for a team because you're sitting there and you're looking around and you're saying, we need something. And, everybody knew that the Canucks really liked Duchesne. We need something. And all of a sudden you're looking and you're saying, there's not much out there that can fill this hole. And suddenly you look back and, the thing about Suter is they know him. He had a good year for them. But if they were really sure about him at that number, they would have done it already.
Yeah.
And I think the Canucks are kind of in that place right now where they're sitting there and they're saying, we like this player. We know this player. We don't like the number, but we don't see a better alternative as far as we can see it. So ultimately, you have to decide. You sit there and say, okay, better the devil we know or better the devil we don't know.
Absolutely. A great way to put it. Trades. Canucks are in on a lot of players. Rossi, Peterka, you're hearing Charlie Coyle, you're hearing, Jared McCann. They're working the phones all over the place, Ellie. Can they make a trade in your eyes for a top six forward?
Look at what Marchment went for.
Yeah.
Not a lot.
2
Look
picks.
at what Zegras went for. Not a ton. The thing is, though, that the guys everybody really wants, those are the high prices, right? The other problem is there's not a lot of sellers. Pittsburgh is the obvious one, but other than that, there really aren't too many. Like the thing is, I saw it was reported out there. Rossi, they offered a player and a pick.
Yep.
The thing about that with Minnesota is Bill Guerin does not want to make his team worse. And he's not taking a player and a pick unless he thinks he can flip them for something else that makes his team better this year. And for the package that was reportedly offered for the Canucks, I don't know how that's going to make Guerin's team better.
Yeah.
I think this too. I think one of the big challenges to getting Rossi traded is that, if you're Vancouver and you're looking down the middle, you've got Pettersson, Rossi, Hedl. Like, how do you think that looks? How do you think that compares to the rest of the Western Conference? So I'm not sure that's I'm not sure Rossi solves Vancouver's problems.
Yeah.
I think McCann is a wild card. Don't forget, this is a 40 goal scorer who has led their team in scoring. I mean, that's going to be a big price, a very big price. And, there's so many teams looking for centers right now.
Yes.
I understand why the Canucks are going back and looking at Suter. Like, you're looking at all the options out there, Rick, and what they might cost you. It's the exact same position Edmonton was in goal last year. They looked at the price, they looked at the options, and they said, I don't know that anything here makes sense. And I think that's what Vancouver's weighing. I think they're looking at this and going, I don't know how much of this makes sense.
Absolutely. Good point. We're going to ask you, Donnie brought it up this morning. Can you give us an update on the Dallas head coaching job? Because some people out there think, Elliotte, they might be waiting on Manny Malhotra.
I would think if they're going to an AHL coach, Rick, they're going to their guy.
Bingo.
Neil Graham.
Yeah.
I think if they're going to AHL, they're going to their guy. I think they wanted to do some external interviews. I think Glenn Gulletson is one. And then I think they're going to do some in-person interviews later this week. I think Gulletson, if he is indeed being interviewed, because they've been quiet about it, I think he would have a shot. But their AHL guy, I think, has a real shot at it. And I think if they're going AHL, they're going to him.
Elliotte, news from a couple of days ago. What makes the Jets and Jonathan Taves confident he can make a successful comeback in his hometown?
I think, first of all, I think it's a good sign that Taves really wanted to go there. Like, it wasn't just the bonus package. He really wanted to go there. Like if you want a quiet comeback, you're not picking a place with the intense media spotlight of Winnipeg, especially since he's from there, right? Like there's a lot of quieter places you can go. So I really like that for Taves. The other thing too is I like Gabriel Landeskog really changed my opinion of a lot of this stuff. And I know that Landeskog and Taves aren't coming back from the same thing, but I kept on hearing that Landeskog, like no chance he was ever going to play again. Yeah. And not only did he come back, but he played well. And it's a reminder when you look at what's available to these players at the NHL level, you have better chance of being successful than the stuff that schlubs like us are available to, right? So I think after Landeskog, it's kind of changed my opinion on the likelihood of some of these things. We'll see. They were hoping it would save them Ehlers, that he would like that and stay. I'm not sure how likely I think that's going to happen, but it's like their fans were excited. It's a big bonus package. Like some people are like, that bonus package is too much. If you pay him the full $7 million, you've won the Stanley Cup. You'll gladly pay that money. I think the Canucks, the other thing, and I wrote and talked about it last week, guys, is I do think they're going to take a serious run at a Garland extension. I really think there's a will to try that. And so, we'll see where that goes after July 1st.
Maybe the most surprising thing about Landeskog, other than what he did on the ice, he was one of the first 6 players named to Sweden's Olympic team recently, Elliot.
Yeah.
That took a lot of people by surprise.
I just think it shows the enormous respect for him, Donnie.
Yeah.
Like how much people really like him and respect him.
Where's Marner going to end up, Elliot?
Like everyone's watching Vegas.
Yeah.
Everyone's watching Vegas. Like that's what everyone's looking at here. So we'll see. I mean, we got another, I don't even know what day it is anymore. What is it, 9 days?
Monday the 23rd, yes.
Yeah, so we got 8 more days. Everyone's, like a lot of people think Vegas, but I still think Carolina's going to make a run, and I think the Kings will too.
If you don't know what day it is, it means this interview is over. You need some rest. And again, we can't thank you enough, Elliot.
Well, boys, like I said, I really enjoyed doing it. Ryan, I'm sorry I make you text me so many times to confirm that I'm actually coming on. I do apologize for that, Ryan.
He'll be okay, Elliot. He gets paid well. Thanks for this.
All right, guys. Have a great summer. Speak to you soon.
You bet.